spend a lot of money on a saloon car. Of course, it needs to be very luxurious and it needs to be very fast. And your mind may gravitate toward the usual German trio. Maybe you buy a 7 Series or an S-Class or even an A8. But since 2010, there has been a fourth car in the mix, the Porsche Panamera. This is the new Porsche Panamera. And guess what? It looks like a Porsche. These cars are very recognizable, and this one specifically looks like a swollen 911 with 2 rear doors. On the outside, the front and the rear end has been changed and now looks more modern. But the overall silhouette of the car now looks sporty and sleeker, similar to that of a 911. But besides the outside stuff, the inside is where we really need to focus our attention, because right there, you've got a new twin turbocharged engine and you've got a new 8-speed double clutch gearbox. How cool is the rear section of this car? It's sporty yet spacious. And other cars in this segment try to mimic a lounge setup, whereas Porsche, they're like, nope, we're just going to fit 2 people comfortably in here. And the 2 people that do get to sit here get to mess around with the screen, which allows you to see things such as navigation, media, and set up your climate control as well. And if you need to connect devices, you've got some USB inputs to do that as well. Sitting in the front seat of this Porsche Panamera makes you realize how much has changed in this car. For instance, this screen makes me control a whole lot of things in the car. I can change how the car handles, I can look at the infotainment system of the car, and at the same time, I can play around with various safety features in the vehicle. I've got Apple CarPlay, so I can actually take this device and put it there. I've got a night view camera. Overall, the cabin of the vehicle is very new and modern, almost like what you would expect from a car from the future. But for a car this big, you may wonder, surely it can't be much of a performance car. Or is it? Because the car I'm in right now is the Panamera 4S, which means I've got a 2.9-litre V6 twin turbocharged engine that produces 324 kilowatts and 550 newton meters. That's almost similar power to an MG competition package. It's crazy. But what that also means is that if I change this little switch here from drive to Sport Plus, it means I can do this. So the noises get louder, the gear changes get faster, and I generally get happier. The interesting thing is that even if I'm not in Sport Plus mode and I'm in drive mode, if I need to overtake somebody, for instance, as one normally does on a normal everyday scenario, if I press this little button here, I get Sport Response mode, which activates an overboost function. So for 20 seconds, I've got everything, which means I can pass anybody in maximum attack mode. So, after spending some time with the new Porsche Panamera, you realize just how dual purpose this car is. On the one hand, you've got all the space, and on the other hand, you've got all this performance. So this is really a family man's 911. At the end of the day, many people might ask, why would you buy this car over a Cayenne or a Macan? But those cars are SUVs, whereas this is still a sports car, just with 4 doors. You've still got a low center of gravity and a car that handles great. So you can still take your kids to school, put all their stuff in it, all the whilst driving an aspirational brand. And then when you're alone, you can get to work very quickly. When you're not in a rush, you see how well the Porsche Panamera works as an everyday car. It's quiet, composed, and very refined. I've even got a Bose sound system to help me drown my stress away. And if I need to keep track as to where I'm going, the digital display unit shows me exactly where the navigation is taking me. Despite all the power that this car's got, it's quite frugal on fuel. The claimed combined cycle figure is 8.2 liters per 100 kilometers, which is quite good considering all that you get. So really then, this is the car you buy if you don't want an SUV and life hasn't allowed you to have that 2-door sports car. It may even be the car that your spouse allows you to buy during that midlife crisis. It's full of tech and it hasn't lost its fun side. For instance, if you're really late for that meeting and you need to get off the line that much more quicker, you can still do things like this. That is launch control. And that sets me to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.2 seconds, which again is ridiculous. I'll say it again, this car is the ultimate sleeper. You don't expect it to do the things that it can do because of its size, but trust me, this is just one big sports car. It's funny how things work, because many years ago, this car was dog first design. And now this new one's here, and it hasn't changed hugely, and people now love it. Maybe we grew into it, who knows? What I do know is that this is a very good car. At 1.5 million rand, it better be. And that may seem like a lot, but the competition costs more or less the same. What you do get in this car is exclusivity. And for people looking for a car in this bracket, that's very important.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. We'd love for you to join our community by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.